Gentlemen, I'm going to level with you. The breakfast you've trusted for decades may be quietly working against you. The toast, the fried eggs, the bacon that smells like Sunday morning comfort can narrow your vessels, sap your stamina, and chip away at the confidence you used to carry without thinking. You've been told this is age catching up. It isn't. It's what sits on the plate when the sun comes up. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott. For over 30 years, I've sat across from men in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond who thought the best chapter was already written. Heavy legs by noon, short breath on the stairs. A fading spark when intimacy calls. I've also watched those same men reclaim their energy, their stride, and their presence when they changed one simple thing. The first meal of the day. Here's the paradox. What feels hardy and familiar can stiffen the very pipes that move life through you. And when blood cannot travel freely, muscles tire early, the mind fogs, and the moments that matter most feel out of reach. The good news is stubbornly hopeful. Swap the wrong staples for the right few and your circulation responds, often faster than you expect. Energy steadies, focus clears. Confidence returns to the room like an old friend. If this message hits home, I want to hear from you. Tap that like button right now and consider it your first small rep toward better blood flow. When you do, I'm wishing you three good things. May your mornings feel lighter and your steps sure. May your afternoons carry strength instead of slump. May your evenings meet you with calm, warmth, and a spark you recognize. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next practical lesson. In the comments, type 1 if this resonates and type 0 if it doesn't, so I can serve you better. Tell me your age and your toughest morning habit to break. I read these and I respond because this channel is a clinic without walls. Stay with me. In a moment, we'll start replacing what drains you with what restores you, beginning with a bold, ruby-red ally that opens your vessels and reminds your body how alive it can feel. When I think about the men I've met in my 30 years of practice, one story always comes to mind. Robert, 66, sat across from me one afternoon with a heaviness that wasn't just in his legs. Dr. Prescott, he said, I get through my mornings fine, but by 2 o'clock I'm dragging. My legs feel like sandbags and my energy just collapses. Even when I'm with my wife, it's like the engine just doesn't start. He thought it was age. It wasn't. It was his circulation quietly fading meal by meal. I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you ate a beet? He laughed. A beet? You mean those red things in jars? Exactly those red things. Beets have long been underestimated. They're not just salad decor or a side dish next to the roast. Beneath that deep crimson skin lies one of nature's most potent medicines, nitrates, compounds your body converts into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide, gentlemen, is the master switch of circulation. It relaxes and opens blood vessels, allowing oxygen and nutrients to reach every cell. When your nitric oxide levels drop, your energy, stamina, and even confidence follow. What makes beets exceptional isn't just that they contain nitrates, it's how much they contain. A single glass of beet juice holds over 1,000 milligrams, more than almost any other vegetable. Within hours of drinking it, your vessels relax, your blood pressure eases, and your energy steadies. It's as if your body suddenly remembers how to move freely again. 2 weeks after Robert swapped his morning toast for a cup of beet juice and a handful of nuts, he came back different. His posture was upright, his tone lighter. Doc, he said, I can climb stairs again without stopping halfway. My legs feel alive. And let's just say my wife's noticed the change too. That's not magic. That's biology doing its job again. The science is undeniable. Studies show beet nitrates improve blood vessel flexibility, boost oxygen efficiency, and sharpen cognition by increasing blood flow to the brain. When your circulation improves, everything else follows: energy, focus, mood, and performance. Imagine walking with your grandchildren through the park without feeling like you're hauling weights. Imagine sitting at dinner, clear-minded, steady, calm. That's the quiet reward of nitric oxide doing what it's meant to do. Now I know what you're thinking. Doc, I can't stand the taste. Fair, beets have an earthy flavor that not every palate loves. But the beauty of this root is its versatility. Juice them with apple or carrot for sweetness. Roast them with olive oil for a mellow richness. Grate them into oatmeal or yogurt for a subtle, sweet note. You don't have to turn your diet upside down. Small, steady habits create compounding results. One of my favorite recommendations is the morning beet blend. One small beet peeled and blended, a half apple, a squeeze of lemon, a few spinach leaves for extra nitrates, and a pinch of ginger for warmth. It's a drink that tastes alive, and soon you will too. Here's the truth many men don't hear enough. Blood flow is manhood. It's vitality, clarity, and presence. When your vessels open and oxygen flows, you don't just feel better, you feel like yourself again. So tomorrow morning, before the bacon hits the pan, pause. Ask yourself, what if energy didn't have to fade with age? What if all it took was the color red on your plate? Start with one small act, a beat, a glass, a decision. The body will do the rest. And remember, I'm not asking you to believe in magic. I'm asking you to believe in your biology. Stay tuned, because while beets open the highway of your bloodstream, the next food we'll explore protects it, quietly, patiently, like a lifelong friend standing guard at the gates. There's something quietly noble about the way a man holds a cup of green tea. No rush, no noise, just a moment of calm before the world starts spinning. It's a ritual older than any of us, passed down through centuries of men who understood something that modern life keeps forgetting. Strength isn't only built in the gym. It's built in stillness, in what we drink, and in how we treat the body before it ever needs repair. When Harold, 72, first came to see me, I was exhausted. He said, "Dr. Prescott, I drink 2 cups of coffee every morning just to keep my eyes open, but by lunchtime I'm done. I feel jittery, my hands shake, and my legs heavy as bricks." He paused, embarrassed, then added, "Even in the bedroom, I feel like I've lost touch with my own body." I told him something that made him blink. "Harold, try switching one of those coffees for green tea." He looked at me like I'd suggested herbal magic. "A tea, doc? You think tea can do what coffee can't?" I smiled. "Try it for 3 weeks. Let's see which one of you was right, me or your caffeine." 3 weeks later, Harold walked in with a grin that spoke before his mouth did. "You win," he said. "I don't crash anymore. I feel steady, focused, and somehow my legs don't ache like they used to. My wife says I even look calmer." That's the gift of green tea. It doesn't hammer your body into wakefulness like coffee does. It awakens you softly, balancing stimulation with serenity. And the secret behind that balance lies in its chemistry. Green tea is rich in catechins, natural antioxidants that do 2 extraordinary things. First, they protect nitric oxide, the same molecule beets help you produce. Without nitric oxide, your blood vessels tighten, restricting circulation to your muscles, heart, and yes, your most vital regions. Catechins keep those vessels flexible, allowing blood to move like it should, freely, confidently, without friction. Second, they shield your arteries from stiffness and inflammation, the invisible culprits that make you feel older than your years. By drinking just 2 or 3 cups a day, studies show that men improve artery function and reduce their risk of heart disease within weeks. And there's more. Green tea carries L-theanine, a compound that works with caffeine, not against it. Together, they deliver calm alertness. No crash, no anxiety, no nervous energy, just focus. The kind that lets you stay present, steady, and sharp, whether you're behind the wheel at work or in the company of someone you love. Inflammation, stiffness, brain fog, these are not inevitable parts of aging. They are signs of imbalance, of circulation under siege. Green tea corrects that with simplicity. It cools the internal fire, nourishes the lining of your arteries, and restores rhythm to your heart. Some men tell me, "Doc, coffee feels like energy. Tea feels like doing nothing." But that's exactly why it works. Energy that doesn't spike and crash is the kind that lasts. When your blood vessels open, your oxygen levels rise, and your mind clears, the day stops feeling like a mountain climb. It becomes a steady walk. I often suggest this simple morning ritual. Brew 1 cup of high-quality green tea, sencha or matcha. Add a slice of lemon to stabilize the catechins. Take 10 deep breaths before you sip. That last step, breathing, may sound trivial. It's not. It tells your nervous system you're safe, which means your blood vessels open wider. Pair that with the tea and you've got medicine disguised as peace. So, gentlemen, tomorrow morning, before your hand reaches for that 2nd cup of coffee, pause, ask yourself, are you fueling your body or fighting it? If you're ready to steady your pulse, clear your mind, and feel that quiet surge of confidence again, trade the coffee jitters for green calm. Let each sip remind you that control, in the truest sense, begins with how you start your day. And once your vessels are open and your energy is balanced, we'll move on to something that holds the line. An old, steady guardian that keeps your arteries clean, your blood smooth, and your heart protected. There's something profoundly honest about a bowl of oats. No glamour, no flash, just quiet consistency. It doesn't promise miracles, yet it delivers them all the same. Every morning in my clinic, I tell my patients, if beets open your blood vessels and green tea calms their walls, oats are the silent custodians that keep those pathways clear long after you've left the breakfast table. George, a 70-year-old retired engineer, is the kind of man who believes in systems. When he first sat in my office, he brought 3 pages of notes, lab results, and even a hand-drawn diagram of his daily routine. "Doc," he said, tapping the paper, "everything looks fine on paper, but I still feel like I'm running on half power. My legs ache after a short walk. I take the elevator now, I never used to." When I looked at his diet, I saw it instantly: white bread, toast, butter, a fried egg, and coffee every single morning since his 20s. His arteries, much like his breakfast, were running on outdated technology. Here's what I told him: "George, your body doesn't need more fuel, it needs cleaner pipes." That's where oats come in. Inside these unassuming grains lies a powerful fiber called beta-glucan, and it works like a cleansing crew for your arteries. Once eaten, it binds to cholesterol in your digestive tract and pulls it out of your body before it ever gets the chance to clog your vessels. Think of it as a natural vacuum for your bloodstream. The result? Lower LDL cholesterol, smoother circulation, and a heart that no longer has to fight uphill just to pump blood through the day. 4 weeks after replacing his buttered toast with a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and walnuts, George returned to my clinic looking years younger. "Doc," he said, "I didn't realize how heavy my legs had felt until they stopped hurting. I walk again after dinner and my wife says I have color in my face." His cholesterol had dropped, his blood flow improved, but what struck me most wasn't the numbers, it was his posture. He looked alive again. Science backs what I see every week in my office. Oats lower LDL by up to 10%, stabilize blood sugar, and protect the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. Why does that matter? Because the endothelium is the gatekeeper of nitric oxide, the molecule that determines whether your arteries expand freely or stay stiff and narrow. When it's damaged by sugar spikes, processed fats, and stress, circulation slows, and so does life itself. Oats fix that quietly. They release their energy slowly, keeping your glucose steady instead of swinging wildly like coffee and toast do. That steady burn means no afternoon crash, no brain fog, no heavy legs, just clarity. And let's be honest, most men think oats are boring. But boring in the right hands becomes brilliant. Add blueberries and strawberries for antioxidants that shield nitric oxide. Stir in walnuts or almonds for healthy fats and extra arginine. Drizzle honey or cinnamon for taste and vascular support. Even roasted beets can join the bowl for a nitrate boost. Breakfast becomes both comfort and therapy. What I love most about oats isn't their chemistry, it's their symbolism. They teach patience. They prove that discipline, not drama, builds strength. Every spoonful is an act of quiet resistance against decline. I once told George, oats don't make headlines because they are too dependable, but so are men who last. He laughed, but he understood. Health isn't about quick fixes, it's about what you do every morning without fail. So tomorrow, when you reach for your breakfast, remember this: you can't unclog an artery overnight, but you can keep it from clogging ever again. Beets open the path. Green tea steadied the flow, and oats protect what you've built. But the next step is about giving your arteries flexibility and resilience, the kind that turns stiffness into strength. And that secret, gentleman, comes wrapped in green. If beets open your arteries and oats keep them clean, then avocado teaches them how to bend, breathe, and stay young. Flexibility, gentlemen, isn't just for your joints, it's for your blood vessels too. And that's where this humble green fruit becomes a quiet miracle. I remember Franklin, 61, a former high school football coach, with a laugh that filled my office. "Doc," he said, "I've still got my spirit, but my legs, those are another story. They feel like they are made of cement by noon, and my wife tells me I'm grumpy before dinner." He paused, scratching his head. "I guess I'm just getting old." I smiled. "Franklin, your body's not old. It's dehydrated, underfed, and missing the good kind of fat. Let's fix that." I told him to do something strange: add half an avocado to breakfast every single morning. He laughed. "You mean that green stuff the kids smear on toast?" "Exactly," I said. "Except this time it's your medicine." 2 weeks later, he came back lighter on his feet, brighter in his face. "Doc," he said, "my legs don't drag anymore. I walk up the bleachers like I used to. My wife even says I'm smiling more." That wasn't magic, it was monounsaturated fat doing its job. You see, the fats in avocado don't clog your arteries like bacon, grease, or butter. They do the opposite. They keep your blood vessels flexible, allowing them to expand and contract as they should. That flexibility means your heart doesn't have to push so hard to move blood through your body. Every beat becomes easier, smoother, more efficient. But there's more. Avocado is rich in potassium, one of the most underappreciated minerals for men over 60. Potassium balances sodium, your blood pressure's worst enemy. Most men take in far too much salt and far too little potassium, and that imbalance keeps their arteries under constant tension. Add avocado and you restore calm to your circulatory system. And here's the part most men never hear. Vitamins A, D, E, and K, the cornerstones of your immune health, bone strength, and artery elasticity, are fat-soluble. That means without healthy fat, your body can't even absorb them. Eat your eggs, your vegetables, your supplements. It doesn't matter if there's no fat to carry them into your bloodstream. An avocado becomes the delivery system for everything else you do right. When you mix avocado with vitamin C-rich fruits like strawberries, blueberries, or citrus, you supercharge absorption. The antioxidants in those fruits protect nitric oxide, while the fats from avocado help it circulate longer. The result: a vascular system that works like it did 20 years ago without the stiffness, swelling, or sluggishness that make men feel old. Franklin told me one morning, "Doc, I didn't know food could lift your mood." I told him, when blood flows right, the mind follows. Better circulation doesn't just power your muscles, it feeds your brain. It releases serotonin and lowers cortisol. That's not wellness talk, that's neurovascular science. So how do you make it work for you? Simple. Slice half an avocado onto whole grain toast or blend it into a smoothie with spinach and almond milk. Add a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. It's breakfast that feels indulgent but functions like therapy. I like to call it green insurance. It pays dividends in flexibility, calm, and clarity. When your arteries can flex, your entire system hums in rhythm again: your heart, your brain, your confidence. I'll tell you what I told Franklin: youth isn't an age, it's a condition of your circulation. And now that your arteries can stretch, it's time to give them something that fuels that flow, a simple, crunchy ally that provides the raw material for nitric oxide itself. The kind of food that seems small but changes everything. Let's talk about nuts. The underrated powerhouse that keeps your blood running strong. It's funny how something so small can hold so much power. A handful of nuts doesn't look like much, but inside those tiny shells lies one of nature's finest tools for male vitality, strength, stamina, and steady circulation. Samuel, 65, came to my office one morning looking like he was carrying the weight of the world. "Doc," he said, "I get up, drink my coffee, skip breakfast, and by 10 I'm exhausted. My legs feel weak, my mind's foggy, and I'm drinking another cup just to stay awake. And truth be told," he hesitated, "my confidence in the bedroom isn't what it used to be. I didn't reach for a prescription pad, I reached for a bag of almonds sitting on my desk. Start here," I told him. He laughed. "Doc, that's it, nuts." "Yes," I said, "and a handful every morning, you'll see." 3 weeks later, he walked into my office with a grin that didn't need explanation. "I don't know what's in those things," he said, "but I've got energy all day. I'm sleeping better, walking longer, and well, my wife says I've found my spark again." That spark, gentlemen, isn't fantasy. It's arginine, an amino acid abundant in nuts like almonds, walnuts, and pistachios. Inside your body, arginine converts to nitric oxide, the same molecule that beets help you produce. It relaxes blood vessels, allowing blood to move freely to your muscles, your heart, and yes, the parts of your body that define your manhood. But the benefits don't end there. Walnuts, for example, are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that keep arteries supple and reduce inflammation. Think of inflammation as rust on a pipe. Over time, that rust stiffens and narrows the flow. Omega-3s act like an oil that keeps your system running smooth. Meanwhile, almonds deliver vitamin E, which protects your blood vessel walls from oxidative stress, preventing microscopic damage that can lead to bigger problems later on. When circulation improves, everything follows: energy, mood, clarity, performance. You think sharper, move lighter, and feel younger. Now some men tell me, "Doc, I don't have time for fancy health foods." And I tell them, good, nuts aren't fancy. They're portable, simple, and require zero effort. And keep a small bag by your coffee pot or in your car. Replace that mid-morning pastry or processed snack with a handful of almonds or walnuts. You'll not only avoid sugar crashes, you'll actually stabilize your energy through the day. Here's what I often recommend: the morning boost mix. 6 almonds, 3 walnuts, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, a few blueberries or raisins for antioxidants. That's it. No blender, no pan, no excuses. And for the men who say, "Doc, I tried nuts before, they didn't do anything," I remind them, biology rewards consistency. It's not the one handful that changes your life, it's the 10th, the 20th, the 100th. When you fuel your body every day with the raw materials it needs, your circulation doesn't just improve, it rebuilds itself. One of my favorite moments is when men realize they've taken control again. Samuel told me, "For the first time in years, I feel like my body's working with me, not against me." That's what these small foods do. They give you back partnership with your own biology. Gentlemen, strength doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from something as small as a handful of almonds before sunrise. Inside that handful lies protein, minerals, arginine, and a promise that blood will move freely, that energy will return, that confidence isn't gone, just waiting to be fed. Now that your circulation is open and well-fueled, there's one more secret to keeping that system balanced. A combination that connects your gut and your heart in a way most men never suspect. It's creamy, tart, and sweet, and it could be the missing link between digestion and stamina. Let's talk about Greek yogurt with berries, the gut and circulation connection. When men talk about energy, they almost never talk about the gut. They'll mention blood pressure, testosterone, maybe circulation, but not digestion. Yet after 3 decades of treating older men, I've learned this simple truth. If your gut is sluggish, your blood will be too. Martin, 64, came to see me with a look I've seen hundreds of times before, the face of a man running on fumes. Dr. Prescott, he said, I wake up fine, but by lunch I'm dragging. My legs feel like concrete, my brain's foggy, and I can't keep up with my grandkids. I feel dulled. When I asked about his diet, it was the same story I hear from so many men: toast, coffee, and a sandwich for lunch. No color, no live food, no support for the gut, the engine room of the body. So I gave him an assignment: replace the toast with a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with blueberries and strawberries every morning. He raised an eyebrow. Doc, yogurt's for kids. Not this kind, I said. This is for men who want their blood to move again. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office with that unmistakable light in his eyes. Doc, I don't know what sorcery this is, he laughed, but my energy's steady. My legs don't feel heavy anymore, and I can think clearly all afternoon. My grandkids actually tire out before I do. That wasn't magic, it was microbiology. Greek yogurt is loaded with probiotics, living bacteria that bring order to the chaos in your gut. When your gut microbiome is balanced, inflammation across your body drops dramatically, including in your blood vessels. And when those vessels are less inflamed, they can open up and deliver oxygen where it's needed. That means smoother circulation, lighter legs, and more vitality in every sense of the word. Inflammation, I often tell my patients, is like a slow fire. It burns invisibly, damaging the lining of your arteries bit by bit until they stiffen and narrow. You don't feel it until the damage is done: fatigue, cold hands, erectile issues, brain fog. Probiotics are the water that puts that fire out. But the real magic happens when you pair that yogurt with berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. These aren't just colorful toppings, they are pharmacology in fruit form. They contain anthocyanins, the powerful plant compounds that protect nitric oxide, the same molecule we've been nurturing since part 2. When nitric oxide lasts longer, your blood vessels stay open longer. Add to that the vitamin C in berries, which strengthens your vessel walls. And you have a morning combination that not only calms inflammation but supercharges blood flow. There's even a bonus most men never expect. Better gut health improves how efficiently your body converts nitrates from foods like beets and spinach into nitric oxide. That means everything you've learned so far, beets, green tea, oats, nuts, works even better when your gut is healthy. It's the hidden multiplier of your circulation. And here's the best part: it doesn't feel like medicine. It feels like a treat. The cool creaminess of the yogurt, the sweetness of the berries, it's the kind of breakfast that satisfies both hunger and pride. You're feeding your body with purpose but enjoying it too. For men over 60, I often call this the breakfast that resets the fire. It cools inflammation, sharpens the mind, stabilizes energy, and brings color back to your mornings. Martin said it best: Doc, I didn't realize how dull I felt until I didn't feel dull anymore. So tomorrow morning, skip the toast. Fill a bowl with Greek yogurt, toss in some berries, maybe a sprinkle of walnuts or chia seeds, and sit for 5 minutes while you eat it slowly. That's not just breakfast, that's circulation therapy. And remember, good health doesn't just move through your arteries, it begins in your gut. Keep that system alive, and your body will thank you in every heartbeat, every step, every moment of clarity. Now, I've received quite a few letters and comments from men just like you, curious, skeptical, sometimes even downright funny about these changes. And in the next part, I'll take a break from the science to answer them directly: questions from the field, from real men chasing real vitality. You know, one of the things I love most about this community is how honest you all are. Every week I read through the comments. Some of them make me smile, some make me think, and a few make me laugh out loud in the best way possible. So today, before we move to the final chapters of this series, I want to pause and answer some of your questions directly. Real men, real doubts, real humor. Comment 1, Doc. I'm 67 and I've eaten bacon and eggs every morning for 40 years. If they were gonna kill me, wouldn't they have done it by now? Tom in Arizona. Tom, I admire your loyalty to your breakfast, if not your arteries. But here's the truth, the body is stubbornly patient. It can take decades of quiet damage before it finally raises a red flag. Think of it like rust on a bridge. It doesn't collapse overnight, but one morning the weight is just too much. The good news, the moment you change, your body starts repairing itself. It's never too late to swap the bacon for beets. And trust me, your heart and your wife will thank you. Comment 2, Dr. Prescott, this all sounds great, but come on, beet juice, I'd rather drink motor oil. Larry 62, Larry, I get it. Beet juice can taste like it was filtered through a garden hose. But nature doesn't always wrap its gifts in pretty paper. If you can push through that earthy flavor or blend it with apples and lemon, you'll feel the payoff in a matter of days. Think of it like the gym. It doesn't have to taste good, it just has to work. Comment 3, Doc, my buddy says nitric oxide boosters are just a marketing scam. Is this really science or just clever talk for supplements? Ray from Boston. Ray, that's a smart question. Here's the short answer. Nitric oxide is not a supplement gimmick. It's a molecule your body already makes. It's what signals your blood vessels to open up. Every medication that improves circulation, from blood pressure pills to certain blue tablets, works by boosting nitric oxide. The foods I talk about, beets, nuts, spinach, they just help your body make it naturally, safely, and consistently. So no, it's not marketing, it's physiology. Straight from the lab to your plate. Comment 4, Doc, my wife heard your podcast and now she's making me eat yogurt every morning. I don't like it. How long before I can go back to my toast? Bill 71, Bill, I'd say give it 3 weeks and then tell me if you want to go back. What's happening isn't just dietary, it's chemical. Yogurt resets your gut bacteria, lowers inflammation, and amplifies the effects of everything else you eat. That means lighter legs, sharper thinking, and maybe even a better mood. And who knows, your wife might notice a few other benefits too. Comment 5, Doc, I started drinking green tea instead of coffee and now I'm not tired, but I miss my coffee smell. Am I allowed 1 cup a day? Greg 68, Greg, absolutely. Balance is sanity. 1 good cup of coffee isn't the enemy, it's the addiction to it that drains you. I tell my patients, let your bloodstream, not Starbucks, decide your energy levels. Green tea gives you calm alertness, coffee gives you stimulation. There's room for both, just make sure the day begins in peace, not panic. Comment 6, Dr. Prescott, you keep saying circulation is life, but what if my problem isn't blood flow, it's motivation? I feel tired all the time, even when I eat well. Alan 74, Alan, you've just asked the most honest question of them all, because sometimes it's not the body that runs out of energy, it's the spirit. Motivation fades when you stop believing change is possible. But here's the truth, every beat of your heart is proof of possibility. You're alive, which means your biology is still listening. Start small, change one thing at breakfast. The body follows the mind, but the mind follows momentum. I read every comment like these and I'll keep answering them because this isn't just a channel, it's a conversation. We're not chasing youth, we're restoring vitality, clarity, and presence one morning at a time. So if something here speaks to you, leave me a note below. Tell me your story, your doubts, your progress. Hit that like button if you're in this journey with me, and may that small gesture remind you of 3 things. You're not alone. You're not done, and you're still capable of becoming stronger than yesterday. Now, let's get back to the science, because the next chapter brings something you might not expect. It's indulgent, rich, and sinful in all the right ways, yet it heals your arteries faster than you'd ever believe. Let's talk about dark chocolate, the sweet medicine your body's been craving. Some of life's greatest medicines arrive wrapped in pleasure, and few things prove that better than dark chocolate. When most men hear me say that, they laugh. Doc, you mean dessert can be therapy? Yes, if you choose the right kind. Because when you peel away the sugar, the dairy, and the marketing, what's left inside a piece of true dark chocolate isn't candy, it's chemistry. William, 63, came to my clinic after years of feeling weighed down. Dr. Prescott, he said, I'm tired before lunch, my legs feel like sandbags, and at night I can't seem to focus on anything. Even the spark that used to define me, it's gone. He expected me to lecture him about exercise. Instead, I slid a small bar of dark chocolate across the table. He frowned. You're kidding. Not at all, I said. 2 squares a morning, minimum 70% cacao, nothing fancy, just consistent. A week later, he walked in smiling. Doc, I don't know what kind of voodoo this is, but my head's clear, my steps are lighter, and even my wife says my eyes look alive again. That's not sorcery. That's flavonols, plant compounds that relax the lining of your blood vessels, allowing them to widen naturally. When arteries open, oxygen flows, your heart pumps easier, and blood reaches the places that make you feel strong and present. Most men think it takes months to feel that change. The truth. Studies show circulation begins improving within 3 hours of eating quality dark chocolate. Inside your body, these flavonols act like maintenance workers. They boost nitric oxide, the same molecule we've talked about since part 2, and protect it from breaking down too quickly. That means smoother flow, better endurance, and longer-lasting energy. No pills, no promises, just the physics of blood in motion. And then there's magnesium, one of chocolate's unsung heroes. Magnesium helps your muscles relax, steadies nerve function, and regulates your heartbeat. It's the mineral your body quietly cries out for when you feel tense, restless, or wake up at 2 a.m. unable to drift back to sleep. Most men over 60 are deficient, and that deficiency feels exactly like fatigue, anxiety, or low drive. 2 small squares of real dark chocolate bring it back sweetly. But maybe my favorite part of chocolate's power is what it does for the mind. It triggers the release of serotonin and dopamine, those feel-good neurotransmitters that lighten mood and sharpen focus. The brain gets oxygen, the heart gets rhythm, and suddenly the day feels manageable again. I've seen men rediscover optimism through something as simple as savoring a square of dark chocolate after breakfast. Now, before you run to the candy aisle, let's set the record straight. I'm talking about true dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher, minimal sugar, no milk solids, no caramel swirl. 2 squares, not the whole bar. Think of it as medicine, not indulgence. When used right, it's an ally. When abused, it's just dessert. I tell my patients, don't eat chocolate to escape. Eat it to engage with your body, your senses, your life. Take that first bite slowly. Let it melt. Let the bitterness remind you that healing doesn't always taste sweet at first. For William, the change wasn't just physical. A month later, he told me, Doc, I've stopped feeling guilty for enjoying things that make me feel alive. That sentence, more than any lab result, told me he was healing. Gentlemen, health isn't punishment, it's participation. It's learning that discipline and pleasure don't have to be enemies. When your arteries open, your heart beats freely, your brain hums clearly, and your confidence, the real kind, comes back. So yes, have your chocolate. Savor it like a ritual. 2 squares in the morning, a slow breath between bites. A quiet moment of gratitude that something so small can do so much. And tomorrow, when you start your day with beets, oats, tea, nuts, avocado, yogurt, or even chocolate, remember this, the goal isn't just longevity, it's aliveness. But before we close, there's one last truth you need to hear. A reminder that every morning is an invitation to begin again. Let's talk about that, your second chance. Gentlemen, if you've made it here, if you've listened through every story, every nutrient, every truth that science and life have taught me, then I want you to stop and take a quiet breath, because this isn't the end of a podcast. It's the start of something much larger, your second chance. Over the years, I've watched men come into my clinic looking defeated, shoulders hunched, eyes tired, Hands that once built homes raised children, gripped steering wheels with confidence, now shaking slightly as they talk about fatigue, low drive, and loss of self. They whisper as though aging were a shameful thing, as if the body's decline were punishment. But what I've learned after 3 decades of practice is simple: age isn't the thief. Neglect is. The body doesn't fall apart, it waits. It waits for the right signal, the right fuel, the right morning to begin again. We've talked about 7 foods, each with its own story, its own magic, its own purpose. Beets, the ruby key that opens your blood vessels. Green tea, the calm that steadies your energy. Oats, the guardian that clears your arteries. Avocado, the fat that keeps your system flexible. Nuts, the fuel that powers nitric oxide itself. Greek yogurt with berries, the harmony that begins in your gut. Dark chocolate, the indulgence that heals your circulation with joy. 7 small acts, 7 quiet tools. 7 ways to remind your body that it's not done yet. I've seen these changes rewrite men's lives, not just their blood work. I've seen men who couldn't walk a block now hike with their grandsons. I've seen men who'd given up on intimacy discover that the fire was still there waiting under the ashes. I've seen hope return to faces that had forgotten what it felt like to expect more from life. The secret isn't in youth, it's in circulation. Blood flow is life flow. When you wake up your arteries, you wake up everything else. Your muscles, your brain, your emotions, your confidence. That's why your morning matters. The first choice of the day shapes every heartbeat that follows. You can fill your plate with grease and fatigue, or you can fill it with color and promise. You can start the day surviving or start it living. Tomorrow morning, I want you to stand in your kitchen, look at your plate, and remember what we've built together in these sessions. Now choose one of these foods, just one, pour that green tea, slice that avocado, stir those oats. Eat with intention. Because the truth is, you're not repairing a body, you're restoring a relationship. The one between your mind, your blood, and your purpose. And when you do, take a moment before the world starts asking things of you to say something quietly to yourself. I'm still here, I'm still capable, I'm still alive. If this message has resonated with you, hit the like button, not for me, but for you. Consider it a small act of ownership. Every tap, every comment, every story you share helps another man realize he's not alone in this fight to stay vibrant. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a brotherhood here, a circle of men who believe that strength, energy, and dignity don't expire. Leave me a comment below. Tell me which of these foods you've started with. Tell me your progress, your challenges, your story. I read them all, and they guide the next conversation we'll have together. I'll leave you with 3 wishes from my heart to yours. May your mornings be lighter and full of purpose. May your blood flow freely and your spirit stay calm. And may you never forget that age, no matter the number, still bends to discipline, curiosity, and hope. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott. Thank you for being here truly. And remember this, the clock doesn't decide when your best years are over. Your breakfast does.